Dalio, a multi-billionaire and renowned investor, just astounded everyone. PayPal has some really exciting news. Additionally, one of the largest brokers globally will accept cryptocurrency. Additionally, the M1 and M2 keep going parabolic. What does this mean? I take it that Ripple has the banks on the ropes. We will also discuss that. To send out those positive vibrations, all I ask is that you smile handsomely at me, hit the like button, and smash it. Let's aim for this video to receive more than 3,000 likes. You people are capable, I'm sure. Today, we are going to change things up a bit. Before we move on to the price action, I would like to begin with the news. The market is somewhat retreating today, heading into Wednesday's FOMC meeting. It's typical, it is a component of the game. Well, but before we move on to the graph, I would want to start with the news. Thus, the world's money supply is still in pain. The M1 money supply in China has increased. With the exception of saving deposits, which total $8 trillion, China's M1 is twice as large as the US M1. The markets are still flooded with money. And we've seen the well-known graph showing how Bitcoin matches the M2 situation by continuously rising. When will the money start to come in? That is the question. When will the parabolic movements be visible? That is the key question once more. Now, Ripple has the banks on the rope. If we go a bit closer to XRP, Paul Barron claims that BPI has made an effort to revoke Ripple's banking license. Our LUSD XRP, let's not forget what BPI stands for, a lobbying group for the industry. 42 of the biggest banks are represented by BPI, which also serves as their lobbying and policy champion. The public only got 2.5 weeks to examine Ripple's application, according to BPI, which is insufficient for such cutting-edge financial applications including Bitcoin operations. Regulatory ambiguity. The opposition implies that the traditional banking sector considers Ripple's hybrid crypto banking model to be potentially troublesome, which may have an impact on the OC's choices. The banks are terrified because they don't want to be overtaken by the cryptocurrency industry. Banks are very profitable, aren't they? Additionally, if new players enter the market, individuals could choose to visit a location that offers both banking and cryptocurrency, rather than simply banking. Isn't that right? The banks are attempting to prevent Ripple because they are afraid of this happening. We'll watch how this plays out and whether Ripple ultimately obtains the banking license. Once more, if it materializes, this would be quite significant for XRP for our LUSD. However, we'll see if it works out. PayPal said that it is officially taking cryptocurrency payments. All US merchants are now able to take Bitcoin and cryptocurrency thanks to payment giant PayPal. Widespread adoption. In America, it simply made a huge leap. Correct, we discussed this, I believe, either last night or the night before. Customers don't give a damn if businesses begin to take stable currencies or cryptocurrency on a huge basis. They will make use of their available options. Additionally, they will use what they need to spend if utilizing stable currencies is simpler for them than using standard credit cards like MasterCard and Visa, right? Therefore, it will be fascinating to watch how it develops. Dalio, a billionaire and renowned investor, recently suggested allocating 15% of one's portfolio to Bitcoin. Who we are, say 2%, if we have heard BlackRock before. Re is arguing against allocating 15% to Bitcoin. This might be a significant amount of money entering the cryptocurrency market and going into Bitcoin if the large funds, money managers, and financial advisors begin to do this. That would therefore be enormous. Once more, I will never advise you to purchase, sell, or hold. Not monetary guidance. Always conduct your own research before making an investment. I have no idea what will occur on a daily basis. Did I realize that there would undoubtedly be a pullback today? No, sometimes this is just the way things are. The FOMC meeting increased the likelihood, but the morning looked excellent and the afternoon witnessed a sell-off. Thus, everything is possible. As of right present, 15% of the portfolio should go to Bitcoin. That is a huge and unexpected comment, and I believe that many people will be taken aback by what Trump said about Jerome Powell. He will be departing shortly. He will be missed. A big Fed shakeup is on the horizon. Thus, the 𝗙𝗏 between Trump and Powell, the chairman of the Fed, continues. They met a few days ago, as you are aware. He will conclude his candidature next year, but how soon today, tomorrow, next week, month, or year? Well, that will be the question pertaining to Powell. Yes, and we'll observe how this develops. As you are aware, the market is being impacted by this week's FOMC meeting. We'll talk about that in a moment. The massive financial firm Interactive Brokers. The majority of Americans aren't familiar with Interactive Brokers, but Asia is well known in Europe. Thinks about permitting broking accounts to be funded using crypto stablecoins. Again, another huge broking. We discussed Schwab's entry into the market. People will be able to utilize stablecoins to fund their stock market accounts, as Interactive Brokers is now thinking about permitting crypto stablecoin funding for broking accounts. So, to reiterate what I said earlier, I believe that people will adopt stablecoins if they are going to be used, even if I may be a little in the dark about it. I believe that it is possible. Additionally, BitCo predicts that stablecoins will experience a sharp increase in value. Washington has been talking a lot about stablecoins, and the fact that US bonds will be backed by these stablecoins leads me to think Bitwise is definitely correct. Once more, there is concern that people won't use stablecoins, but I believe I will. Please let me know in the comments if you plan to utilize stablecoins. Once more, you might not be the best person to ask this question because, although you are already involved in the cryptocurrency market and have some knowledge of stablecoins, their history, and the laws that have been put in place, regular Joes and regular James do not truly understand what stablecoins are all about. Once more, that might be a problem, but we'll see. Therefore, if we look at the price action right now, XRP is at $316, Ethereum is at $3,788, and Bitcoin is at $117,663. The market is not doing well. Currently, the entire cryptocurrency market is down roughly 1.66%. As you are aware, Bitcoin is currently down just 1.47%. It's holding up, but many assets have lost 4, 5, or 6% as a result of this sell-off. We're witnessing assets that have increased, such as SUI, which is down 7%. Assets that have increased over the past day or two are currently experiencing a slight decline. As you can see, we went from, say, to 133 to XRP, which is holding up. Well, since this morning, there has been, I believe, a 5% swing. It's a big swing, isn't that right? It's not nothing. Yes, roughly 5% swing. Thus, the market has retreated right now. XRP did support at 314. Not a lot of liquidations, I guess. I was searching for about 341 million. Liquidations do occur, but not in significant quantities, of course, primarily on the long, but somewhat on the short. Well, this is fascinating. I believe that the retreat we observed might indicate a little bit more. I believe there was some profit-taking going on, but when you look at a lot of the statistics at the moment, the stochastic RSI and other indicators were at the bottom. Therefore, I wouldn't be shocked if there were a change in this situation. But once more, anything can happen, with the exception of the FOMC meeting minutes week. The meeting week, but the minutes are released a few weeks later. We also have the GDP coming out, so we'll see. As I mentioned earlier, it's part of the game. You're going to have some days up and some days down. XRP was at 3, but it's currently at 315, so we've seen a slight increase. However, once more, the stochastic RSI indicator